The average American household spends over $2,000 a year just on heating. Right now, thousands of people sleeping in cars tonight will stay warm and keep their phones charged without spending a single dollar. Not a reduced amount. Zero. They are not running generators or burning propane. They have not purchased a single piece of equipment. Everything they use is either already inside the vehicle, already inside their body, or available in any city completely free of charge. 7 methods. All of them cost nothing. Most of them outperform what you are paying $2,000 a year for. And the first one starts before you ever climb into the car. 70% of the heat inside a parked vehicle escapes through the glass. Every window is a hole in your wall that you are sleeping next to all night. Your body generates warmth, and the windows hand it directly to the freezing air outside. The fix is sitting behind every grocery store in the country, and nobody charges for it. Cardboard. Unlimited supply. Available behind any supermarket or liquor store loading dock after closing time. Tear or cut it to friction fit inside each window frame. The cuts do not need to be precise. Overlapping edges seal better than clean ones because they block airflow at the seams. 2 to 3 layers on the windshield and rear glass, single layer on the sides. Black garbage bags taped to the street-facing side make the windows look tinted from outside. Stealth and insulation in one move. But here's what most people skip entirely: the floor. Ground contact beneath a parked car steals warmth significantly faster than the surrounding air does. The metal underbody sits directly on frozen asphalt and conducts cold straight up through the floorboards. Flattened cardboard 3 layers deep across the entire floor blocks that transfer. Costs nothing. Then there is every gap between seats and around doors. Wadded newspaper stuffed into every crack fills dead space and stops cold air from pooling in pockets around the cabin. Compressed newspaper insulates on the same principle as cellulose in house walls. Same physics, different tax bracket. A fully cardboard insulated car holds 20 to 30 degrees above outside temperature on body heat alone. No engine, no heater, just reclaimed trash and thermodynamics. One person told me his whole setup came from behind a Costco on a Tuesday night. 20 minutes to build. It lasted the entire winter. Blocking heat from escaping only solves half the problem. 20 degrees warmer than zero is still 20 degrees. You need warmth coming from somewhere. And the cheapest furnace on the planet is already running inside your chest. Your body generates 80 to 100 watts of heat around the clock. That is a space heater operating every hour of every day. The problem is, most of that output radiates away and disappears. Car sleepers figured out how to turn the dial up using food they got for free. Digesting fat requires more metabolic effort than breaking down carbs or protein. That extra effort produces measurable body heat. It is called thermogenesis. Soup kitchens, church meals, and food banks provide the fuel. Experienced car sleepers target the fattiest options. Peanut butter from food banks is the gold standard. Calorie-dense, fat-heavy, shelf-stable, and available free in nearly every city. Butter packets from fast food condiment stations help too. Full-fat milk from donation programs is another option. Timing matters more than volume. Eating 30 to 60 minutes before sleep peaks internal heat production around 2 to 4 in the morning, the exact window when outside temperatures bottom out and hypothermia risk spikes. The body's metabolic furnace meets the coldest moment of the night head-on. 4 to 6 hours of slow-burning warmth can come from a jar of peanut butter that costs nothing. The one source every car sleeper avoids completely is alcohol. Alcohol dilates blood vessels, pushing blood to the skin surface. It can feel warm for 15 minutes, then it dumps your core heat into the cold air. People have frozen to death feeling comfortable. That's the specific danger. It lies to your body while emptying your reserves. One veteran car sleeper called peanut butter his prescription medication. He said his doctor would never approve it, but his thermostat did. Metabolism peaks for 4 to 6 hours, then fades. By 3 in the morning, the food is digested and your output drops to baseline. That's the most dangerous window of the night, unless you stashed free heat earlier that day and saved it for exactly this moment. The most effective free heating tool in a car sleeper's system looks like something from a previous century: a bottle of hot water. Car sleepers turn this into a thermal relay that an engineer would respect. The water comes from sources available everywhere at no cost. Gas station microwaves are common. Buy the cheapest coffee or sometimes nothing at all. Heat water in a microwave-safe bottle. Most staff say yes without thinking twice. Fast food bathroom hot taps run 110 to 120 degrees. Fill and walk out. Library restrooms work the same way. Soup kitchens will fill a thermos on request. The bottles are free too. Hard plastic Nalgene-style bottles appear regularly at thrift store donation bins and shelter giveaway tables. Placement determines how much value the heat delivers. Most people press a warm bottle against their feet because that is where cold feels worst. It feels logical. It is actually the least efficient spot on your body. The real targets are arterial zones, inner thighs, stomach, armpits. Major blood vessels run close to the surface in those areas. Warming blood at its source sends heat through the entire circulatory system within minutes. Your body becomes the distribution network. The bottle just provides the starting temperature. Wrapped in a sock or shirt, a single bottle stays warm 4 to 6 hours instead of 2 hours. The relay system takes it further. 2 bottles, one against the body, and one wrapped in extra fabric to retain heat longer. When bottle 1 cools around 1 in the morning, swap it with bottle 2. Total coverage extends to 5 or 6 hours. By sunrise, both bottles contain drinking temperature water. Hydration and overnight warmth from the same free source. A woman who spent 2 winters in her car said this trick was the line between sleeping and merely surviving. She filled hers at the same gas station every evening. The night clerk started leaving the microwave unlocked for her. Hot water keeps you warm from contact points outward. But what about the heat your body radiates upward all night? The warmth that floats to the ceiling and gets swallowed by uninsulated sheet metal above you? You can catch it and send it right back down. Costs nothing. Your body pumps heat upward constantly. Every watt rises toward the roof. Your car ceiling is a thin headliner glued to bare metal, and that bleeds warmth into the sky all night. Emergency Mylar blankets fix this, and car sleepers almost never pay for them. They are free from hospital emergency rooms where they get handed out and never collected. Free at Red Cross stations. Free at the end of any outdoor marathon where they get abandoned in trash cans within the hour. One sheet taped to the headliner above the sleeping area reflects 97% of radiated body heat back downward. Warm air rises from your body, hits the reflective surface, and bounces directly back. It only needs to cover the zone above where you sleep. One found sheet usually handles it. The noise problem is real. Mylar crinkles loud enough to wake you every time you shift. Veteran sleepers sandwich it between 2 fabric layers. Old t-shirts, donated towels, anything soft. Silent heat reflection. The fabric comes from the same free sources: donation bins, shelter tables, thrift store free piles. Windshield sunshades that people discard at Goodwill donation drop-offs are thick Mylar with built-in insulation. Laid over a blanket, they function as a full-body heat reflector already shaped for automotive use. A Mylar ceiling plus cardboard windows pushes the temperature difference to 35 degrees above outside. Still free, still built from things other people threw away. But the better you insulate and the more heat you trap, the more moisture builds up inside overnight. And moisture is the silent enemy that destroys everything warmth creates. The fix costs nothing. Getting it wrong costs everything. Every sleeping person exhales roughly 1 pint of water vapor per night. Seal that inside an insulated car, and by morning, your cardboard is soggy, your blankets are damp, and everything you built just lost 40% of its effectiveness. Mold starts growing within days. The fix is absurdly simple. Crack one window 1/4 of an inch. Not half an inch. 1/4. Just enough airflow to carry moisture out without creating a noticeable temperature drop. Position the crack on the window farthest from your sleeping area. Moisture travels toward the exchange point at the perimeter while the sleeping zone stays still. Dashboard vents pointed upward even without heat running create passive channels that keep humidity circulating instead of settling on surfaces. Silica gel packets handle the rest. Those come in pouches from shoe boxes, vitamin bottles, and pharmacy bags. Every car sleeper becomes a collector. A dozen packets in mesh bags distributed around the cabin pull humidity silently. When saturated, lay them on the dashboard in afternoon sun and they reset. Free, reusable, indefinite. Check windows each morning. Light fog means balanced. Heavy condensation means widen the crack. Bone dry means too much airflow and wasted heat. 5 methods in and your car is insulated, heated by metabolism and hot water, reflecting warmth from the ceiling and breathing just enough to stay dry. Everything so far costs $0, but warmth alone does not keep you alive. You need a charged phone to find work. You need light to function at night. You need power. And the next 2 methods deliver it free. Every city in this country is covered in electrical outlets that most people walk past without seeing. Car sleepers spot them the way a hawk spots movement. Everywhere, once you know what to look for. Public libraries are the foundation. Free outlets at every desk. Free heat. Free restrooms. Free internet for job searching. A person at a table with a phone plugged in draws zero attention. The average stay runs 4 to 6 hours, enough to charge everything you own simultaneously. Hospital waiting areas operate around the clock with outlets on every wall. Nobody questions someone sitting quietly with a charger. The assumption that you are waiting for family is automatic and unchallenged. Airport terminals in many cities do not require a boarding pass to reach the charging areas. Mall food courts during the lunch rush have wall outlets that staff are too busy to monitor. Community centers and churches leave common area outlets accessible during open hours. Even a single dollar menu item at a fast food restaurant converts into 3 hours of climate-controlled outlet access. USB power banks acquired free from shelter donations and community giveaways extend the system. A 10,000 milliamp hour power bank, fully charged at the library, can power a phone for 3 to 4 days and run USB LED light strips for 2 or 3 nights. Those strips use less power than a single phone charger. You can get 8 hours of interior light from the same energy it takes to charge a phone once. One car sleeper mapped every free outlet within 15 miles of his parking rotation on the back of a gas station receipt. He called it his power grid. He said the electric company just did not know they were his provider. Libraries close, malls shut down, hospitals notice regulars after a few days. Every public source has a time limit. But there is free electricity. Most car sleepers are literally sitting on top of every day without realizing it. It is built directly into the vehicle. Your alternator generates electricity every time the engine runs. Most of that power maintains the starter battery and the surplus vanishes. Car sleepers figured out how to capture it. The basic version requires no tools and no modification. While driving to the library, the soup kitchen, the laundromat, or any daily stop already happening, the alternator charges the battery. A standard car battery holds enough reserve after a 20-minute drive to power USB devices for hours after shutdown. Charge the phone from the cigarette lighter while driving, and the alternator replaces the drain in real time. Free electricity as a byproduct of transportation. Never charge overnight from the car battery with the engine off. That drains the starter battery, and you can wake up dead in a parking lot at 6 in the morning with security walking toward you. Only charge during or immediately after driving when the battery is sitting at full capacity. The advanced version uses parts scavenged for free. Marine deep cycle batteries get discarded at marinas and recycling centers with 80% life remaining. Boat owners replace on schedule, not on failure. Wired to the alternator with salvaged cables, the marine battery charges during every drive. At night, it powers heating pads and lights without touching the starter. Battery isolators pulled from junked RVs prevent cross-drain between the 2 batteries. Every trip to the soup kitchen charges both. Every drive to the library tops them off. 20 minutes of daily driving generates enough stored power to run a 5-watt USB heating pad for 8 hours overnight. The driving was already happening. The warmth is a free byproduct. A mechanic who lived in his truck for 6 months said he felt foolish for not seeing it earlier. The alternator was making free electricity every time he turned the key. He had been paying to charge his phone at a laundromat for 3 months before someone pointed at the dashboard and said, "The power is right there." 7 methods, all free. Insulation, body heat, hot water, reflective surfaces, ventilation, public outlets, and the alternator you are already running. But there is one more source of free warmth that has nothing to do with physics, and it might matter more than the other 7 combined. Nobody survives winter in a car on cleverness alone. At some point, the temperature drops past what any system can handle, and the only heat source left is another human being who understands exactly what you are going through. During dangerous cold snaps, car sleepers pair up. Two bodies in one sealed vehicle produce double the thermal output. 80 watts becomes 160 watts. That is not a small difference. That is the margin between a bad night and a medical emergency. Mutual aid groups text at 2 in the morning during freezing weather. You good? 3 characters confirming someone is alive. Missed responses trigger searches. People drive to lots and knock on windows. In a world that pretends car sleepers do not exist, someone notices if you go quiet. Knowledge circulates through these networks like heat through insulation. Which lots are safe? Which churches said yes? Which outlets still work? Information keeps people alive on the same principle as cardboard on a window by stopping something critical from escaping. Isolation during cold nights feeds depression that makes you stop maintaining the systems that keep you warm. Connection breaks that spiral. A voice at 2 in the morning is a kind of warmth no blanket replicates. Free heat comes from cardboard and hot water, and leftover sunlight and batteries. Free warmth comes from someone knowing your name and checking whether you are still using it. Cardboard from behind the grocery store blocks 70% of heat loss. Peanut butter from the food bank turns your metabolism into a furnace timed for the coldest hour. Hot water from a gas station microwave carries you through the dangerous window before dawn. Mylar taped to the ceiling sends your own heat right back at you. A 1/4-inch crack keeps moisture from destroying everything you built overnight. A library outlet charges every device you own while you sit in a warm chair. And 20 minutes of driving powers a heating pad all night on electricity you were already producing. $2,000 a year. That is what the average household pays to stay warm. These folks do it for nothing, not by choice, because the alternative was freezing, and what they assembled from discarded cardboard and donated peanut butter and gas station hot water in each other is more resourceful than most of us will ever be required to become. Next time you break down a cardboard box and toss it into recycling, someone out there looks at that same box and sees a wall. That is the distance between looking at the world and survival. If this changed how you see things, subscribe so you catch the next one.